Okay, hi guys, and welcome to today's show. And as you can see from the intro, today we are reviewing a very special watch, a grail watch for me, and that is the Yacht-Master. Now this is the 2012 version. The Yacht-Master was originally released in 1992, so fast forward 20 years, and that was the reference 16628, if I remember correctly, and it was in yellow gold. So fast forward 20 years, what has changed? Well, what an exquisite watch, absolutely exquisite, a phenomenal watch, and I'm sure you'll agree as to why. Now, before we get into it, I have to do wristwatch check. I am wearing the little Seiko Ripley, the Giugiaro, really fun watch. Federico said he'd never wear it in public. I don't know why. I think it's the coolest thing, definitely a conversation starter. My wild card of the collection. Oh, I love this watch. Designed by the famous Italian car designer. Those salmon pink hands, little dashes of yellow. That bracelet. It's yeah, it is a kind of bit cheap feeling, but it's that good cheap. It's that retro 80s cheap, if that makes sense. Anyway, so back to the Yacht-Master. Now this, of course, was designed specifically for sailing. As the name suggests, Rolex have a long history of sponsoring yacht racing, so it's only logical. But what is really great about the Yacht-Master is the name also kind of suggests the characteristics. When we think yachts, we think of adventure, we think of the romance of sailing, the wonders of the sea. Also, we think of privilege. Owning a yacht is not is a very expensive hobby. As my godfather can attest, he has a yacht, and it costs an absolute fortune to maintain. And these are not cheap things. But what a perfect name and a perfect theme for a watch. So anyway, without further ado, let's change perspectives and have a closer look. This is the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Yacht-Master. The reference number is 116622. This belongs to a good friend of mine. He's very graciously brought it in today to have a look, and it's absolutely spanking brand new. So it hasn't been worn whatsoever. So very unique opportunity, and I had to review it, guys. I had to review it. You guys know that the Rolex Yacht-Master is one of my dream Rolexes, so it's really beautiful to see it in the flesh. I've actually tried on, I think, an older model, but that was some time ago. This, however, is a newer version, and it was released in 2012 at Bezel World. First immediate thing you'll notice is that striking electric blue sunburst dial. It is just absolutely mesmerizing. Beautiful dashes of red in the second hand, and just if we go right in close, you can see Yacht-Master written. Sorry, I'll just move that dust there, and you'll see Yacht-Master written there beautifully, just to match the second hand. The blue really is so indicative of the sea, that rich kind of, the way it plays with the light, it changes at every angle. Sometimes it looks black, other times it looks like a royal blue. As the name suggests, Yacht-Master. This is what I would say a kind of sailing watch. It's not a dive watch, even though it very much has that diver watch kind of tool-like aesthetic. It's mainly designed for water sports and sailing, for kind of nautical adventures above the waves rather than below them. Now, there are some key fundamental differences. The first thing is the bezel, which is used for timing regattas. Now, this is bi-directional, it's beautifully ratcheted. And this is specifically, it's a countdown with 60-minute markers. And this is designed specifically for timing regattas in yacht racing. And it's made out of solid Rolesium, which I mentioned before in a video. Rolesium is Rolex's own invention. It's a blend of platinum and, of course, Rolex's own 904L stainless steel. The case itself is 904 stainless steel, as is the bracelet and the clasp. Now, as you can see, it has this beautiful raised lettering, that contrast between the extremely matted, I mean, it's so brilliantly done, the attention to detail, the luster it has. It's very subtle, but it has a different kind of sheen to it, to the actual steel, and it's something that is unique only to the Yacht-Master. Now, of course, we have 100 meters water resistant. That's probably the key sign difference between this and, let's say, a Submariner. Also, the case is slightly smaller. It's not as chunky as the newer Subs and GMTs. We have this beautiful kind of curve. Look how the lugs really angle downwards. I mean, if we compare it to the Sub, it's quite different. Look at the shoulders and that beautiful high polish. And as you can see, it's in pristine, immaculate condition. It still has crown guards that are kind of reminiscent of the older pre-ceramic Submariners a little bit. Of course, that famous oyster case and a screw down triple lock crown there. So let's just unscrew that crown. It's quite stiff because obviously it's brand new. So I have the honor of actually winding it up. Just the action to that wind, it's like butter. You really do know you have a Rolex in your hand when you wind it up. So of course this has the 3135 movement, which is COSC certified. If I pull it out all the way, you'll see it's hackable, of course. Has a 48-hour power reserve. It operates at 28,800 vibrations an hour and is a 31 jewel movement. This movement's actually been going since 1988. Solid, reliable movements that Rolex is so famous for. These things are really robust. It's not only a beautifully elegant piece for kind of going yachting, but it's also, built for task. The movement actually got upgraded in 2008 with a paramagnetic parachrome hairspring, which of course adds a little bit of protection against magnetism, and of course increases its robustness. You have, of course, instantaneous date change, and if we look at the back, we have that typical screw down case back. Be nice to actually engrave some initials. I wonder if my friend will do that. And as you can see, the sticker is still on it. We have the Oyster bracelet. This is the same one I owned on the GMT Master 2, the ceramic one. And I think I had it on a newer date just as well, with the polished center links and then flanked by those brushed side links there. And just look at it from a profile, the way each link very subtly has a curvature to it. This is one of the best bracelets. Whether you get this version or the version like on my Submariner, it's got to be one of my favorite. I think it is my favorite bracelet. They're just so well designed. They're an accumulation of decades of engineering, really, to really make the most comfortable bracelet. Being a newer bracelet, the links are held together by screws and not pins. And of course we have the Oyster Lock folding clasp. Inside the clasp we have the Rolex Easy Link extension, which again is something new I have not encountered. And let me just show you how it works. Hidden beautifully is a little micro adjustment that you can do on the fly. Now I'm not sure if it's a diver extension. Guys, if you know if this is a diver extension, I don't think so, because obviously this is a sailing watch, this is not a diving watch, but it just pops out very slightly and you can get an even more precise fit. Very subtly done. Another beautiful little innovation and attention to detail that Rolex have done so well. I mean, these modern bracelets and clasps compared to the ones in the 90s and the 80s, I mean, those were just atrocious and rather shocking for a luxury brand of this caliber. But they really have remarkably upgraded the bracelets in all the newer Rolexes, and I haven't encountered this one before, so a really nice little extra detail here. And of course it's very solid. You have that little latch there, just clicks with the little fold over, and you just hook it open with your thumb using the Rolex crown. Beautiful. It actually makes me miss my old Datejust. Well, not my old Datejust, but my newer Datejust that had a similar clasp. And just look at the way the polishing is continued from the transition from the Oyster bracelet to the clasp. It's flawless, absolute perfection, and Rolex really are leading the way, I think, in bracelets these days. So let's have a closer look at that dial, because that really is the its most enticing feature and what makes this watch so special, in my opinion. Now, of course, we have that crisp white lettering of the Rolex logo under the 12 o'clock applied marker there with that beautiful triangle. There is a lot of kind of styling cues taken from dive watches. Obviously it's a nautical themed watch, and at first glance you think it's a diver. We have the Cyclops there to view the date, which is the typical complication of the 3135. Mercedes hands, and of course that red second hand. Now the applied markers are 18 karat white gold, so they have a slightly different luster. I mean, this is actually twofold. It's also to protect from tarnishing over the years, so it'll keep that luster to it, and it's a very subtle detail. I mean, you'd never know it, but they're just so beautifully framed. And of course we have the Chromolite Lume, and talking of Lume, let's have a quick look at the Lume shot right now. So as you can see, guys, the Lume is incredible. It's that Lume we know all so well, that beautiful kind of greeny, light greeny blue. Really makes me think of the ocean. So at first glance, you wouldn't tell that it's a Yacht-Master. You'd probably think it's a Submariner. The only giveaway is there's no pip at the 12 o'clock. But we do have that triangle and those very iconic rectangular batons, and then of course the nice circle hour markers there. The Mercedes hands, very responsive. Chromolite is great. You guys know that the Rolex Lume is fantastic. And of course, on the second hand as well. So very, very legible. Even though it's not really supposed to be a diver, in low light, you would have no problem navigating the waters on your yacht. You'd have no problem reading this in low light. All right, let's take it back to the studio. Okay guys, welcome back. So let's finish looking at that beautiful dial. Running around the inside of the chapter ring, you'll see that Rolex etched, done now on all the newer Rolex models, and it's very subtly done, quite pretty actually. And then of course a very simple white minute track running around the outside. Right at the bottom, 6 o'clock, we have Swiss made. And then, as this is a COSC certified movement, we have their little mention, chronometer, officially certified. We're talking plus or minus 2 seconds a day, and it's just so indicative of the performance of this truly robust and accurate movement. So let's quickly get an idea of its dimensions. Now don't worry guys, and if my friend is watching, I have got sailor tape on the end of the calipers. I'll just do it very softly. It is 40 millimeters diameter. It shows a little more, it's just I don't want to press down too much, but it is 40 millimeters in diameter. And actually I think even though the diameter is the same as my Rolex sub, because of this curved case and the shoulders being a little bit, you know, not so chunky, it actually wears smaller, and you'll see in a moment when I do a wrist shot. Thickness, we're looking at 12.2 millimeters. Lug to lug, we're looking at 47 millimeters, and then the lug width is 20. So a really beautiful size, definitely my optimum size, perfect for smaller wrists, and being so elegant, I think that, you know, medium to large wrists as well. So I'm going to be very, very naughty, and I'm going to pop it on the wrist, even though I really shouldn't, but I got to include the wrist shot, guys, right? Oh, it just wears, oh, now that wears so nicely. Look how it hugs the wrist, that curvature to those lugs. Wow. Now I've said in passing, jokingly to my friend, that this is the only Rolex I would ever consider upgrading from my sub. And notice the word upgrade there, because honestly, I mean, look at that fit. For the smaller wrist, absolutely perfect. And actually, it's sized. I think he's deliberately taunting me by having it sized like this. Yeah, definitely I would consider, if I hadn't got such a sentimental attachment to my Submariner, I would definitely consider one of these. My gosh, I've got to say, this is tremendously comfortable, dare I say even more comfortable than my sub. It's certainly got less heft to it, and we can see at this angle the way the light is playing with that dial. I can only imagine what a sight for sore eyes it would be in the sunlight. Definitely more elegant. It's really understated. It's like a stealth wealth. It's kind of like a yuppie yachting you know, weekend away for the Gatsbys of this world. That dial is simply mesmerizing. And talking of comfort, let's just quickly bring in the scales, and I do apologize about the rather unglamorous scales here. These are kitchen scales. We're looking at 146 grams for the sub, 148 grams for the Yachty. Now, there is a little bit more bracelet. The weight difference is mainly due to platinum being a higher density than steel. So even though being a fraction smaller, it is actually a tiny bit heavier. So let's just move these horrendously ugly scales out of the way and just sum up the watch. Now, it's absolutely stunning. There's no doubt about it. It has its own identity, but yet firmly based in that kind of nautical, diver-esque aesthetic. It's a tool watch, it's a sports watch, but at the same time it's very, very elegant. I really can't find any negatives, and I think the only negatives is that it's too expensive and I haven't got one. You know what, I'll stick by my words. This is the only Rolex sports watch I would ever consider selling my sub for. You know, one day I dream to have this. I think it's unique, I think it's beautifully designed, I think the proportions are perfect. Actually, I have thought of a negative, and this comes from personal experience, and I have found that the center links on the high polished center links do tend to attract scratches quite a bit, but you know, who cares? This is absolutely beautiful. I kind of almost want to see it on the leather strap, because it has got quite an elegant, dressy, you know, this is what you'd wear on a weekend in Miami, hopping on a yacht, but at the same time having dinner in a linen shirt on, you know, on South Beach, that kind of thing. It has that kind of elegance. That dazzling blue really is intriguing, handsome and sporty. I'm in love, guys. I really am in love with this. It's going to break my heart to give this back, but my friend is going to wear and enjoy it for many years, and he should be really proud. It's a stunning piece. Lastly, I'm going to mention price. Now, I know I don't tend to do so, because it is, the way I was raised, it is a little bit vulgar to discuss price, and so quite a bit more than a sub, but it's well worth it. I mean, you've got platinum there. It's the all-in-one watch. It's the Gatsby of sports watches. It really is. I think this and a dress watch. Actually, you know what? All you would really need in life is this. It's gorgeous. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Let's take it back to the studio. A very classy watch indeed. If you're docked off the coast of Monte Carlo, this is just the thing for you. I think it embodies everything you'd want in a more kind of understated Rolex. It's more conservative size, that dash of exuberance with the color, but at the same time, you know, it's not loud, it's not flashy. A sports watch for the old money. It's not the loud and gaudy. You know, it's what do I have to say? It is absolutely pure class. There's undoubtedly, it's pure class. Rolex hit a home run with this one, and I think actually kind of slightly, and it's not given enough attention. Sure, its price kind of keeps it out of the reach of the mainstream, so to speak. You know, everybody rushes to the Submariner, but you know, for a few grand more, and actually on the used market, you can get it for even less. I think it's probably the most underrated Rolex in the sports range, at least. I'm really glad they didn't go over the top with the size, because you know, sizes, big sizes, okay, with a diver, with an aviation piece, it's fine, because they're supposed to be a little larger, but for a watch of this kind of sophistication, dare I say it, it would be uncouth to have it too large. So spot on with the proportions. You know, very little negative I could say about this watch, other than the fact you know, I can't afford it. But anyway, thank you again to my friend for lending it in and entrusting me with his very special timepiece. Just, you know, just when you think you're out, it pulls you back in, these watches. You know, yeah, another grail to put on the list. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. And as always, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, ciao.